Even though I've wanted to be married, preparing for it is not something I've given too much thought to since I thought it would just happen. There's that phrase once again. I thought it would just happen. I thought it would just take place. I thought by now I would be married. I thought by now things would have just taken place. It doesn't happen that way. Whether you're Christian, Muslim, Hindu, agnostic, atheist, it doesn't work that way. This idea that it's just gonna kind of happen. You can't believe that. You have to prioritize that. You must prioritize it. You can't focus solely on your career. You can't focus on other aspects of life and expect things to just kind of fall into place. The world doesn't work that way. Oftentimes, in Christian circles, you'll get some advice. There'll be some advice that comes over the pulpit. Nah, just, he will give you the desires of your heart. That is true. That is true. Honor God, obey him, and he'll give you the desires of your heart. Stop. Right there. That is true. But you still need to actively pursue a spouse. I'm going to put a link in the description. There was this woman, her name is Haven. She went to this Christian singles conference, which is, by the way, stupid. Don't go to those. Unless your goal is unless the main purpose of that conference is for people to meet, don't go to these things. They're stupid. They're a waste of time. They're a waste of money. They're only going to tell you how to be single, which is stupid because you are already single. Here's what you do. When the Bible says, he will give you the desires of your heart, that is true. But there are things that you need to do in your life that no one else can do for you. God can't even do it for you. God is not going to take a man and just plop him onto your doorstep and then the man's going to knock on the door and you're going to open it and he's going to like, here I am, your future husband. Here I am, your future wife. That doesn't happen. You need to actively go out and meet people and interact with people and prioritize meeting someone. She's now 31. She's now 31. The Bible says we live in the world, but we're not to be of the world. Okay? That's true. However, there are things that do apply to you as a person who lives in this world. She's 31. She's now competing with younger women. She's 31. If you're a single guy, are you going to take the 31-year-old woman or are you going to go with the 22-year-old girl? You're probably going to go with the one who's 22. Another thing that I notice is she says that she's had one boyfriend. And that lasted a month. Is there something wrong with her? Probably. It's often in dating, especially in Christian circles, where we say, God's not punishing you, which is true. God isn't punishing you. Okay? You're not a bad person if you're single. You're not being punished with being single. However, you need to ask yourself and be honest with yourself and have people in your life who are honest with you. That's what actual friendship is. I'm now 30 years old. I've never really dated, and I want to be married. I want to have children. But there's nothing on the horizon for me. Is there something wrong with me? The answer is yes. You need to acknowledge that. You can't keep saying, well, every other thing is the problem. Every other person is the problem. You're not, let's just be real here. and I say this especially to women, most men find most women attractive. Blonde, brunette, redhead, okay, Latina, white, black. Most men find most women attractive. Ladies, if you are single and you've been single for a long time and you can't find anyone, you are probably doing something wrong. What is that? I don't know. I'd have to know you personally to really give you a better answer. But you have to admit to yourself, I'm doing something wrong. The things that I am doing are incorrect. Now, is patience part of the process? Yes, there is. But there's also learning that needs to be done. Are you doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again and expecting a different result? That's called insanity. You can't do that. Okay? Another thing that I want to talk about, okay? Often, when it comes to marriage or singleness, pastors will say, there's no, Paul said that singleness is a gift. It's a blessing. Okay, let me just clarify this. Again, I believe a lot of these pastors mean well. I do believe that. I do believe they are trying to help the flock that God gave them. With that said, you are not meant to be single. You're not. Remember, Paul was single. He believed it was better for Christians to remain single. That was his belief. That was his mindset. Okay? When reading the Bible, you need to look at the passage and say, who is saying, you need to analyze who's saying this, who are they speaking to, what's the time period, and take all of that into consideration. Okay? The Bible makes it very clear in the beginning, in Genesis. This is very, very, I want you guys to remember this. In Genesis, after God finishes creating everything, he looks down and says, it's good. That's good. Everything looks good. There's a point, literally, go read it. He looks down and he sees Adam by himself. And he says, it is not good that man be by himself. It is not good that man be alone. God has created paradise. Everything is absolutely perfect. There's no sin. There's no mistakes. There's nothing wrong. Everything is as ideal as it could possibly be. But God looks down and he says, oh my, that's not a good thing. That's bad. I can't keep that the way that it is. God himself is saying there needs to be an addition here. I'm missing something. What am I saying here? You are made to get married. You're called to marriage. Okay? You're not called to be a nun. You're not called to be a priest. You just don't subscribe to that. Most people, the vast majority, and by vast majority, I mean 99% of people, you have to be you're not Paul. You're not Jesus. You're not any of those individuals. God makes a point. It's in the Bible for a reason. God himself says, this is not good. Everything in the garden he labels good. Night and day, good. The land, good. The water, good. The animals, good. Everything is good. He comes out and says, that is not good. That's a point of emphasis. He's saying it is important that this get fixed. It's not good for man to be alone. You're made to get married. Don't believe, maybe I'm supposed to be single. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. And I'll just an aside here. One of the reasons I'm not Catholic is because Catholics believe, for example, they don't let their priests or nuns get married. Okay?